so one of the first things that we would like to look at is what Safe Kids Worldwide gives us is 3 reminders on how to prevent heat stroke in our children, and it's called ACT, A-C-T. The first is to avoid any of the injuries together. So making sure that you have your children, making sure that you check your car at your final destination. We need to make sure that you're aware. So with the A, the avoid the injury altogether, we want to go ahead and focus on making sure our car is locked, making sure that the availability for that heat injury not even to occur. So all times making sure your car is locked, and then when you're at home or you're at your destination, putting your keys up to the level where children can't reach them and get into the car by themselves without you knowing. The C in ACT of the ACT is to create reminders. So whether that's putting your child's favorite toy in the front seat to remind you that your kiddo is back there and then placing it back in the car seat when your child is not, anything you can do. We've had mothers take off a shoe, we've had cell phones put in the back, anything you do that can remind you to make sure you check that back seat as you get out of the car. And then finally, T in ACT is to take action. If you have unfortunately experienced a heat emergency, don't hesitate at all to call 911 and get people involved and there quickly to take care of your child, loved one, whether they're elderly or even the animals in the car. So again, ACT is what the Safe Kids Worldwide would like you to think about, is ACT. ACT to avoid these heat-related emergencies. Some statistics for children in the United States are that in every of the 50 states, every single one, a heat emergency has occurred and a child has died in every single month. So all 12 months, it is not just in the summertime that we're worried about heat emergencies. Though temperatures can get a little warmer in the summertime in most states, we still worry about that. From anywhere in the low 70s, mid 70s, all the way up to 100-degree temperatures, heat injuries, heat stroke can occur with children. Currently, as of July 18th, 2017, there have been 23 deaths recorded in the United States with children suffering from heat stroke. These are not only children that have been unintentionally left in the back seat, these are children that have been trapped in the car, more or less. You have to think about it. Some of these children 2 and 3 years old will always sit in the car seat. They don't know how to get out of the car any other way other than mom, dad, or caregiver opening that door for them. Think for yourself for a second. Do you know where all of the handles are in every single car that you get into? The other thing we want to take into account is child locks. We have to make sure that with all of these new technologies in cars that we lock those from the front seat so these children are unable to get out of the back seat and open those doors at any time, especially when they're hot and tired and already in distress of being in that vehicle. We want to bring awareness to the fact that children's bodies heat up 5 times faster than adults. So in an 80-degree temperature day here in Kansas at 10 o'clock in the morning, by the time that noon rolls around, that car has increased greater than 30 degrees. So take that into account when you're thinking about this, that with elderly patients or animals or children, the back seat of that car without airflow is going to be very dangerous very quickly. As your car warms, 80% of that influx happens in the first 30 minutes of your car being off and locked up. Doesn't matter whether the windows are down or not, 80% of that degree temperature increase happens in that first 30 minutes. Although the public often hear about the heat stroke emergencies or heat emergencies in cars and immediately think that the caregiver has intentionally or unintentionally left the child in the car, parents, caregivers, the public itself needs to be aware that this is not always the case. Children are active in your neighborhood. Children are active everywhere. Children that aren't even yours or under your care can get into your unlocked cars. Please, please take the warning to lock your car at all time, not only for safety risks or safety concerns for yourself, but safety concerns for the children of your community. It doesn't take much for a child to open a car door and get locked inside. And if you're not the caregiver or you're not in charge of that child at the time, that's not something you're going to think about to go and look for that child.